Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we sift through mind-numbing corporate filings so you don't have to. Today we're diving into Farmers and Merchants Bankshares Inc.'s latest quarterly report. Get ready for some thrilling insights into deposit dips and, oh joy, discussions of interest rates. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can discuss all things corporate finance. Let's jump right in. Farmers and Merchants Bankshares Inc. has about 3.17 million shares of common stock out there as of May. Now let's peek at the balance sheet. Their total assets are around $817 million. That's less than the roughly $840 Aussie dollars they had at the end of the previous year. Looking at the deposits, things have changed. They had around $631 million in interest-bearing deposits this quarter, compared to roughly $652 million last year. Less money sitting in interest accruing accounts. Also, it looks like they no longer have any Federal Home Loan Bank advances, while last year they had 5 million. Let's move on to the income statement. Net interest income, which is basically the profit they make from lending, is up slightly to around $5.5 million. That's compared to around $5.2 million during the same period last year. Net income, which is their total profit after all expenses and taxes, is around $1.2 million, fairly flat compared to the same period of the previous year, which was around $1.2 million. This translates to earnings per share of 0.37. Last year it was slightly higher at 0.39. Now for non-interest income, they made around $514,000, again, more or less the same as last year when they made around $503,000. Non-interest expense, which includes things like salaries and building costs, totaled about $4.5 million. This is more than the roughly $4.1 million they spent the year before. Interestingly, they identify as a non-accelerated filler and a smaller reporting company. It's also worth noting some non-cash events. Unrealized gains, meaning those on paper not yet actually sold, on available for sale securities were $1.8 million. This could suggest they believe their investment portfolio is doing well. Their cash flow statement shows that the company generated around $590,000 in cash from operations, a big drop from the $484,000 they made last year. They were very active with loans. They effectively lost around $17 million from loans made and repaid. More principal was collected than loans made, or vice versa. At the end of the day, they ended up with $42 million less in cash. It's also worth noting they had an increase in bank-owned life insurance cash surrender value. Bank-owned life insurance BOLI is a type of investment made by banks, so we should keep an eye on this. Now, before we jump to conclusions, it's important to note some changes in accounting rules. The bank company does not expect the adoption of ASU 2025-01 to have a material impact on its consolidated financial statements. Digging a bit deeper into their investment securities, a large chunk is in mortgage-backed securities. Keep an eye on these. Their held-to-maturity portfolio is mostly high-quality bonds, which is good. A bit on equity transactions, some computation involved shares, meaning the employees now have ownership in the company. Finally, the report is signed by Gary A. Harris, the Chief Executive Officer, and Mark C. Krebs, Treasurer and Chief Financial Officer, so you know it's official. Now, looking at these results more broadly, Farmers and Merchants Bankshares seems to be weathering some changes in the banking environment. A slight dip in deposits isn't ideal, but they're managing costs reasonably well. One thing that caught my eye was the non-accelerated filler and smaller reporting company status. This often means less regulatory oversight, which could be good or bad, depending on how it's handled. Overall, a relatively stable quarter, but definitely things to watch for moving forward. Alright, that's our breakdown of Farmers and Merchants Bankshares' latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of corporate finance. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.